So, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off the Charts. This is an extension of the Money Mantra. I am your host, Cha Cha, and today we will be continuing our limited series on the science of getting rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Now, I am the founder of the Cosmic Club. It's a high vibrational network where we pretty much give other entrepreneurs a lot of insight into how it is to be an entrepreneur, a lot of resources so they can take that information and they'll definitely see a lot of results. This particular series, Off the Charts, is all about shifting your mind about money and changing your relationship with money. And if you want to have a positive relationship with someone, right, you put the time, energy, and effort into that thing. And it's the same thing you have to do when it comes to your finances. So, through this series, hopefully, you'll be able to build a more positive relationship with your finances and find more abundance in your own personal life. You can even apply these principles to other areas of your life, and you'll be able to see great growth as well. You can follow me on Instagram at Money Mantra Cha. And also make sure if you are not subscribed to this channel, hit the bell, right, so that you can subscribe and have access to all the rest of the videos. So, again, today we are going to be continuing our series on the science of getting rich. This book, I believe, was written maybe, I'm not sure actually when it was written, but a lot of people have used it to shift their mindsets about money and to actually get rich. We are on week 6 of 16 because we're just working through the chapters and really taking a deep dive into what he's trying to get out because the message is pretty simple and clear. And it's the fact that there is a science to getting rich. I mean, if we know anything about science, we know that it's really exact. So if you have an exact blueprint and you have things that you can practically do in your day-to-day life that's going to make it easier for you to make money and for you to get rich, why not try it? So the first chapter that we actually did is called The Right to Be Rich. And it's just a reminder that everybody on this earth has the same opportunity to create wealth and riches for themselves if that's what they choose to do. Everybody is having an individual experience. And it can be 8 billion people in the world, but it's all a different expression of the same formless thought, right? And that is what Wallace D. Wattles is trying to get us to understand in this book. If you want to be rich, you can be rich. You just have to think about it. He says that there are exact things and methods that you can do to do this, and he breaks down some of them in the book. But it's going to be up to you to actually apply it. Sometimes you do have to listen to the chapters over and over again until it makes sense, but it's worth it. Chapter 3 was called "Is Opportunity Monopolized?" And it was just saying that opportunity is limitless. The same way that the first opportunity was created, there's going to be more than enough chances for you to make whatever it is you want out of your life. Simply because no one person can control all of wealth, all of success. It just doesn't make any sense. If something was created one time, it can't actually be duplicated again, right? Just by getting the materials, tools, and resources you need to create that thing. The first principle in the science of getting rich, of course, is just understanding that you do have the right to be rich. Increasing life, that was a really good chapter as well. It's just about doing as much as you can, right, to get as much as you can get out of this lifetime. So I'm excited. Today is chapter 6. We're talking about how riches come to you. And it's pretty straightforward, but like I said, you may have to listen to it a few times. So you can actually get the audiobook on Apple Music, Spotify, and maybe even on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and play chapter 6 so that we can get into this discussion. But if you've actually had the chance to sit on any of the other off other charts calls, just drop some sevens in the chat and just let me know because this series has been so amazing. If you really want to be, I always use the same examples. If you want to be a doctor, you're going to study medicine, right? If you want to be a lawyer, you're going to study law. If you want to be wealthy, you're going to study wealthy people and wealthy things. So that is why I love spaces like this. I love the Cosmic Club. I love these discussions. And without further ado, let me go ahead and play chapter 6. It is about 8 minutes long, so make sure that you guys do have your notebooks. You're taking notes and drop anything that sticks out to you in the chat. So here we go.
Chapter 6, How Riches Come to You. When I say that you do not have to drive sharp bargains, I do not mean that you do not have to drive any bargains at all, or that you are above the necessity for having any dealings with your fellow men. I mean that you will not need to deal with them unfairly. You do not have to get something for nothing, but can give to every man more than you take from him. You cannot give every man more in cash market value than you can take from him, but you can give him more in use value than the cash value of the thing you take from him. The paper, ink, and other material in this book may not be worth the money you pay for it, but if the ideas suggested by it bring you thousands of dollars, you have not been wronged by those who sold it to you. They have given you a great use value for a small cash value. Let us suppose that I own a picture by one of the great artists, which, in any civilized community, is worth thousands of dollars. I take it to Baffin Ray and, by salesmanship, induce an Eskimo to give me a bundle of furs worth $500 for it. I have really wronged him, for he has no use for the picture. It has no use value to him. It will not add to his life. But suppose I give him a gun worth $50 for his furs. Then he has made a good bargain. He has use for the gun. It will get him many more furs and much food. It will add to his life in every way. It will make him rich. When you rise from the competitive to the creative plane, you can scan your business transactions very strictly. And if you are selling any man anything which does not add more to his life than the thing he gives you in exchange, you can afford to stop it. You do not have to beat anybody in business. And if you are in a business which does beat people, get out of it at once. Give every man more in use value than you take from him in cash value. Then you are adding to the life of the world by every business transaction. If you have people working for you, you must take from them more in cash value than you pay them in wages. But you can so organize your business that it will be filled with the principle of advancement, and so that each employee who wishes to do so may advance a little every day. You can make your business do for your employees what this book is doing for you. You can so conduct your business that it will be sort of a ladder by which every employee who will take the trouble may climb to riches himself. And given the opportunity, if he will not do so, it is not your fault. And finally, because you are to cause the creation of your riches from formless substance which permeates all your environment, it does not follow that they are to take shape from the atmosphere and come into being before your eyes. If you want a sewing machine, for instance, I do not mean to tell you that you are to impress the thought of a sewing machine on thinking substance until the machine is formed without hands, in the room where you sit or elsewhere. But if you want a sewing machine, hold the mental image of it with the most positive certainty that it is being made or is on its way to you. After once forming the thought, have the most absolute and unquestioning faith that the sewing machine is coming. Never think of it or speak of it in any other way than as being sure to arrive. Claim it as already yours. It will be brought to you by the power of the supreme intelligence acting upon the minds of men. If you live in Maine, it may be that a man will be brought from Texas or Japan to engage in some transaction which will result in your getting what you want. If so, the whole matter will be as much to that man's advantage as it is to yours. Do not forget for a moment that the thinking substance is through all, in all, communicating with all, and can influence all. The desire of thinking substance for fuller life and better living has caused the creation of all the sewing machines already made, and it can cause the creation of millions more, and will, whenever men set it to motion by desire and faith and by acting in a certain way. You can certainly have a sewing machine in your house, and it is just as certain that you can have any other thing or things which you want, and which you will use for the advancement of your own life and the lives of others. You need not hesitate about asking largely. Original substance wants to live all that is possible in you, and wants you to have all that you can or will use for the living of the most abundant life. If you fix upon your consciousness the fact that the desire you feel for the possession of riches is one with the desire of omnipotence for more complete expression, your faith becomes invincible. Once I saw a little boy sitting at a piano and vainly trying to bring harmony out of the keys, and I saw that he was grieved and provoked by his inability to play real music. I asked him the cause of his vexation, and he answered, "I can feel the music in me, but I can't make my hands go right." The music in him was the urge of original substance, containing all the possibilities of all life. All that there is of music was seeking expression through the child. God, the one substance, is trying to live and do and enjoy things through humanity. He is saying, I want hands to build wonderful structures, to play divine harmonies, to paint glorious pictures. I want feet to run my errands, eyes to see my beauties, tongues to tell mighty truths, and to sing marvelous songs, and so on. All that there is of possibility is seeking expression through men. God wants those who can play music to have pianos and every other instrument, and to have the means to cultivate their talents to the fullest extent. He wants those who can appreciate beauty to be able to surround themselves with beautiful things. He wants those who can discern truth to have every opportunity to travel and observe. He wants those who can appreciate dress to be beautifully clothed, and those who can appreciate good food to be luxuriously fed. He wants all these things because it is Himself that enjoys and appreciates them. It is God who wants to play and sing and enjoy beauty and proclaim truth and wear fine clothes and eat good foods. It is God that worketh in you to will and to do, said Paul. The desire you feel for riches is the infinite seeking to express Himself in you as He sought to find expression in the little boy at the piano. So you need not hesitate to ask largely. Your part is to focalize and express the desire to God. This is a difficult point with most people. They retain something of the old idea that poverty and self-sacrifice are pleasing to God. They look upon poverty as a part of the plan, a necessity of nature. They have the idea that God has finished His work and made all that He can make, and that the majority of men must stay poor because there is not enough to go around. They hold to so much of this enormous thought that they feel ashamed to ask for wealth. They try not to want more than a very modest competence, just enough to make them fairly comfortable. I recall now the case of one student who was told that he must get in mind a clear picture of the things he desired, so that the creative thought of them might be impressed on formless substance. He was a very poor man, living in a rented house and having only what he earned from day to day, and he could not grasp the fact that all wealth was his. So, after thinking the matter over, he decided that he might reasonably ask for a new rug for the floor of his best room and an anthracite coal stove to heat the house during the cold weather. Following the instructions given in this book, he obtained these things in a few months, and then it dawned upon him that he had not asked enough. He went through the house in which he lived and planned all the improvements he would like to make in it. He mentally added a bay window here and a room there until it was complete in his mind as his ideal home. And then he planned its furnishings. Holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in the certain way and moving toward what he wanted. And he owns the house now and is rebuilding it after the form of his mental image. And now, with still larger faith, he is going on to get greater things. It has been unto him according to his faith, and it is so with you and with all of us.
All right, let's go. I love listening to this book because every time it just be like, wow, he really be spitting. So, if you guys listen deeply and you took something away from chapter 6, right, just go ahead and drop some sevens in the chat. And of course, feel free to share your thoughts as well because I'm really about to break down what I heard him say and what I take away from this chapter every single time I listen to it. So, thank you guys for participating. So this chapter is called how riches come to you. And I'm pretty sure that's just something that a lot of people wonder. They're like, how do certain people get rich? Or, well, some people don't wonder how other people get rich. They just automatically assume that that's not something that they can have for themselves. But if this is your first time on this call, your first time hearing this in this lifetime, you have every right to be rich. If you don't feel like you do, or you automatically felt yourself going, no, I don't, or having some doubt, I really want you to sit with that feeling and I really want you to question it because says who? Who put a red line on wealth? And also, like I said, listen to chapter 3 is opportunity monopolized because it further will break down that idea in your mind that it's not something that you deserve to have. So, the main takeaway from this chapter, in my opinion, is that riches will come to you. Riches will come to you through creative expression and also by giving more than you actually take. Right. So, like Jordan said in the chat, she said use value is greater than cash value. And that is 100% true. Right. And she said focalize and vocalize to God. And that is also very true. Right. So first, I want to talk about the touch on the topic of how riches will give you life. Um, riches will come to you by giving life to your thoughts and creative expression. It's so interesting because He said that the creator basically wants us to have all these things, right? He wants us to understand the right to be rich. He wants us to experience these things because that's how he is expressing himself to us. If we're all connected, right, with one common energy, we all want the vibration to be high, right? Nobody likes low vibrational and negative things. So if you are a painter, you would be much more happier and your vibration would be higher, and God would be pleased if you had more resources to be able to paint. And not only that, what if your paintings could be seen by many more people that will also bring them joy? So by sharing and expressing the talent that you have, whether you are or skill, right, or service, if you're an entrepreneur, it's really all about making sure that if something is a burning desire that you have within yourself, you have to get it out of your head and you have to get it into the world, right? We pull stuffs out of our we pull things out of our mind, and then we put it down on paper, right? It's typically a three-step process. We don't know how long it takes, but it's a three-step process. You'll get the thought or idea, right? You'll write it down. That's a very important step in manifestation. And then the next thing would be you would realize what you wrote down on paper or what you saw, what you typed on the screen, was actually coming to life, right? Now, if Apple, everybody is familiar with the company Apple, right? Steve Jobs. If you guys are familiar with Apple, just go ahead and drop some sevens in the chat, right? Apple has a lot of money. They can open a headquarters or a building anywhere in the world, right? Now, if they want to open a building, they want to contract somebody, right? First, they're going to have the thought and idea that they want to open the building, right? They want to have a new building. So they're going to have that thought in their mind. Then the next thing they're going to do is contract people who can build that building. Now, just because they didn't have this new headquarters, right? Just because your store isn't physically open, just because your restaurant isn't open, right? Just because your business isn't fully formed yet, right? They had the initial idea, right? And they started moving forward and taking steps as if they knew this building was going to actualize, right? It was just an idea. We need a new headquarters, right? So now let's find the people who can do it because they know it's already done. They wouldn't seek the contractor, they wouldn't seek the land, they wouldn't start doing research unless they understood that the thought that they had was something that they can actually bring to fruition. So they'll find somebody who can make the building, and then somebody is actually they're going to describe what they want. This is what I want the lobby to look like, right? This is what I want the offices to look like. These are the types of, this is the feel that I want. And somebody's going to take notes, they're going to write it down, right? And then they're going to sketch it out, right? They're going to take it from right concept to creation. They're going to write it down, and then they're going to build it. And before you know it, Apple is going to have a brand new headquarters that was once just a concept in somebody's mind. Now, that's a physical example of something that could be built, but you can also change the things that are coming into your life by first creating a mental image of it, holding that mental image in your mind, and then starting to take the steps in action like it's already done, right? You have to do all the steps. You have to conceptualize it, you have to internalize it, and then you actually have to get it out, right? So Jordan also said in the chat, instead of running to physical things to help me, I've been relying on God these past 48 hours, from extreme pain, giving him gas to drive. However, my modeling career will go next. My bad habits, giving more time for myself. Yeah, you just really have to change your entire world. Like, but it all starts in your mind, right? So if you want to bring more riches into yourself, you have to get out those reoccurring thoughts that you are having on your mind for better or for worse. Because if you're having negative reoccurring thoughts, you definitely want to get those out because that's why you're getting the results that you're getting. And if you're having positive reoccurring thoughts, you want to do more of that. If you keep having an idea to start the business, if you keep having an idea to, I don't know, create this service to start teaching people. If you have an idea in your heart to open a restaurant, to open a, I don't know, a bakery, right? Whatever it is that you want, all you have to do is think about it and then start to actually move, right, with intention and seriousness as if it's done. Start looking for spaces of where you would like your location to be, right? If you're offering a service online, don't feel like it's too many people already doing that service because opportunity is not monopolized, right? There's always a chance. And once you do take the step or decide to become an entrepreneur, you're going to understand that opportunity is limitless because you're literally creating it, right? You're going to be more in tune with yourself. You're going to be more in tune with things around you, and you're going to be providing value, right, to the people, to your customers, right, to your prospects, right, to your clients. You have to look on the internet to start seeing, Okay, what are other people charging for this thing? Right? How do I go about setting up a website for this? Right? And you start to figure out all these little things. So as you tap into that creativity and walk more into your purpose, you'll notice that riches will flow into your life more easily and more freely. Right? Because you're not doing things that only get out that creative expression from your heart, but you're also offering value to other people that's really going to change their life, right? Now I have one friend, her name is Spicy. For example, she one service that she offers and one product that she sells is press on nails, right? Now she can price her nails at whatever she want and people can't argue with the price because let's just say they're going to a photo shoot, right? And then the photo shoot is going to be on the cover of Vogue magazine. And then Vogue magazine is going to be sold in a lot of different countries, right? It's like the value that she provided for the service that she offered was more than what the person actually paid for it, right? It's more than what the person actually paid for it. So that's what we really have to start thinking about what we have to offer, right? When we're having conversations with other people. Like we talked about on the digital dash yesterday, if you guys had a chance to tune into that, we talked about information overload, right? What are you focusing on, right? What value are you taking in, right? Are you focused on positive information? Are you focused on useful information? Are you focused on negative information? Or are you focused on useless information, right? So we really have to make sure that we're being as expressive as possible. We have to make sure that we're not sitting on these ideas. We have to make sure that we're not scared to take leaps of faith. We have to believe in ourselves and just understand that if somebody else can do it, we can do the same exact thing, right? You don't have to compare yourself to other people, but do use them as inspiration to know that you can get ahead, right? And I'm pretty sure the more value that you provide to people, the more you'll start to see your finances growing, right? You will be compensated directly for the impact that you have on other people. Now, one thing that people typically think is that because you, let's just say you are putting a lot of talent or money or energy into one thing, you expect the result that you're seeking to come from that specific thing when it literally could come from something else, right? But the fact that you're trying, the fact that you're getting more in tune with yourself is going to alert the universe that you're working towards it and your blessing may actually come in another way, right? So something that I do want to add is that you need to be open, right, to the idea that riches can actually flow to you, right? You need to be open to the idea that riches can and will flow to you if that is what you want, right? And don't be afraid to ask for more, right? So just in regards to making sure you're getting that energy out, right? You're putting it into as many places as possible. You that's why you have to have more, right? You have to have more, you have to do more, you have to see more, you have to be more because that's only going to raise the vibration of the planet, right? Helping other people literally is not only going to help you, but it's going to overall help everything because like he said, we come from one consciousness. So just two examples of like why it's important to really get stuff out, whether it's your thoughts, whether it's your creative expression. If you've ever, let's just say you ever had a to-do list and you never got through everything on a to-do list. If that made you anxious, right? Just drop some sevens in the chat. If you've ever felt anxious for not completing something, right? And then drop some threes in the chat if you've ever felt relief after a really deep and good cry, right? Let me put some sevens in the chat too, right? So we got some sevens, right? And that's because it really feels better to get something out. It feels better once you get it out, right? It feels better once you get it out, right? Because it's no longer going over your head. It's no longer playing over and over and over and over again. It's been out. It's been released so that you can literally make space for something new, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's financial. You have to move something out the way to get something in return. You have to put something out to get something back. So I hope that makes sense. So another thing that he talked about in general is just about you have to, and I'm just going to dive a little bit deeper into this. He said you have to, he said you cannot get more than you pay for something, but you can get more value than the cash value of the thing that you pay for. And I just think that's so pivotal and it's so important to understand. So basically, that's like saying if you went to a 99-cent store and you pay only it's 99 cent, right? That's how much it costs. and you pay 99 cents to get the notebook, you can't walk out the store with 5 notebooks for 99 cents, right? Unless that's the sale. So you can't get more in cash value than what you've paid. But that notebook, right, that you may be writing your manifestations in, that notebook that may be your sketch pad for ideas for your designs, right? That notebook that may be your prayer journal, right? And how you keep your relationship open with God. That value is so much more than what you paid for it. So the person who charged you for that notebook, right, whether it was the store clerk or the person who actually created the notebook and set the price, he's pretty much saying it's an even exchange, right? If you get what you seek out of what you purchase for a cash price, right? You get more than you seek, right? You get more in value than what you paid for it in cash. You basically made a good deal and you made a good bargain because you've paid the person who made the notebook, right? So as an entrepreneur who has a business, they're getting paid on that end. And then you also are going to see things happen faster in your life if you do have a manifestation journal. If you're a singer songwriter and one of your songs gets picked up, then it really was worth the trade, right? If that makes sense, guys, drop some sevens in the chat, right? That we have to start really looking at the actual value that we're getting out of things. This is why if you are entrepreneurs, set your prices, right? Set your prices, especially if you're offering a service where you're giving people advice or you're offering a service that's going to boost somebody's confidence and boost somebody's self-esteem. What's $100 to somebody's self-esteem, right? If you are whatever you're doing, just make sure that you are setting the price because people, if you're sharing any part of yourself, you're sharing any part of that creative energy, essentially a part of your soul, right, with somebody else. You're exchanging energy with them, right? You're giving them value for a cash price. They're getting so much more out of that conversation than any price you could have put on it, right? Now, I also teach people high frequency trading, which is a style of trading that you can do within the foreign exchange market. And I've seen people make more than $100 per minute, right? I've seen them make more than $100 per minute. So if I want to charge 60 minutes times $100 per minute, right? Then I feel like then that's an equal value because what I've taught you is going to make you money for the rest of your life, right? And you're gonna be able to multiply your money in large quantities based on the value that was given in that course. So can you really put a price on it, right? Something that he really said in this chapter that's so important is like you really have to know your value and essentially raise the price, ask for more. Like, why are you asking for so little? Right? Some people, I saw somebody on Facebook yesterday, they said, all I need is $50,000 and I'll be straight. And I was just like, $50,000, like that's a substantial amount of money. But if that's all you want out of this world, it's like if you know for a fact that you can have more and that you have the right to be rich and that nobody can tell you that you can't have that, why would you settle for that, right? Why would you settle for that, right? I want to make $50,000 a month, right? And I eventually want to make $50,000 a day just because I can, right? I'm not athletic by any means, but wealth is really a sport and I'm really trying to play. Like I'm really trying to play. So I don't know, guys, it's crazy out here. But you really have to make sure that the price you're putting on yourself is like it is priceless. Like you can raise your prices for the rest of your life, and people who see the value in it, people who know who are going to take action on the words that you're telling them, right? They literally will see that it was worth the price and they will pay anything. That's why some people can start off, for example, Steve Harvey always tells the story of his barber. He started off, I think, doing haircuts for free or $5. It was a very low price. And then he just kept upping the price for the same thing that he was already doing. Right. So it went from a little bit of money to now he's able to charge thousands for the same thing that he's been doing because people see the value in what he's providing to them. Right. So whatever it is that you do, make sure people understand that, and don't argue with anybody about your price. If either they're gonna pay it or they're not. Because I will never go to Wendy's and be like, why the nuggets 369? Why the nuggets 369? Why, like, I would never do that. Like I would never do that. It doesn't make any sense because they set the price. The people who want it is gonna pay. The people who don't want to pay is gonna get out of that line and they're gonna go get something else. Right. So you really do deserve riches. The way that you can expedite these riches coming to you is to really just tap into yourself, get comfortable with yourself, get comfortable with who you are, get comfortable with your weaknesses, right? But don't focus on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. If people always told you, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful. You should model," right? And do you take amazing pictures? You should probably tap into that. You've been hearing it for a long time. If people told you, "Oh my God, your food is so delicious. You should sell plates," you should probably tap into that, right? And if every time you do that thing, right, it may not be consistently, but if every time you do that thing, you're getting positive reviews, right? You're getting financial success, you're getting recognition, and people are happy, then that's probably something you should be doing more, right? So if you can think of one thing right now that you do really well, right, that you've either already monetized or you know that you can monetize, right, whether it's a skill or a service or a specialty item, just drop it in the chat, right? Let's see what type of things that you guys are going to really get rich from starting in 2022, right? I believe this is going to be everybody on this call. This is going to be your first, best, greatest year ever. And I only think it's going to go up from there, right? So Spicy says she started her YouTube channel. Okay, that is, let's get the coins and congratulations. I know she recently reached 5,000 views on some of her content, and that is amazing, right? Because we all start at zero. So if you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, it's not crowded. I have a YouTube channel, right? It's more than enough views for everybody, more than enough finances. Why? Because the same place that it came from the first time, it's going to happen again. That's just what creation does. Being a creative is a commitment to creativity, which is a commitment to life and progression, right? Okay, so Jordan said commercial and runway modeling. Okay, and since you guys have started these ventures, right, have they been successful? Right? Have you found success? Right? Do you find yourself the happiest when you're in that mode? Right? Do you genuinely get happy for creating content and from being behind the camera and being in front of the camera? Right? Do you really get joy from seeing the joy on other people's faces from seeing you? Right? Now, if you saying yes to this, then you really need to understand that this is going to be how you probably will obtain your riches, right? And it's not from that one thing alone, but it's from consistently doing what you love, right? I believe Bob Proctor said this, but I could be wrong, right? The late great Bob Proctor, he said life is about, oh, it was Bob Proctor. He said he had a conversation with someone, and then he was like, "What's the big deal about life?" And then the person responded, "There is no big deal, right? You just find something that you love and you dedicate your life to it." And that's how most people find success. Like think about Lay's chips, right? Think about Lay's chips. Lay's chips, that's one thing. One thing is potato chips made from three things, right? Potatoes, salt, oil. But that's an empire, right? If you're familiar with Lay's chips, you've seen Lay's chips at parties, you've seen it at gas stations, you've seen it at grocery stores. Drop some sevens in the chat because that's one thing, right? But they built a whole empire. They said, "I love chips," right? I love chips. So I'm going to make the perfect chip. How do I do that? Like they found the perfect ingredients. All right, potatoes. All right, thin potatoes. They found the perfect thinness, right? They found the perfect saltiness and they built a company out of it. So when it comes to your own talents and when it comes to your own goals, what are you really good at? And how could you get better? Right? Because you should never accept the fact that how you are right now is as good as you're going to be. Like that literally makes no sense. Like life is a commitment to expression, right? It's a commitment to expression. Like unless you are sick and ill, there's no reason for you to be laying in bed all day, not breathing, not talking, not moving, not doing anything. It makes no sense, right? Because if you're not living, you're actually dying, right? If you're not living, you're actually dying, right? If you're not consistently creating your life, then you're destroying your life, right? Because it's only really two ways it can go. You can be doing this or you could be doing that, right? You could be doing this or you could be doing that, right? So if you guys are awake, you following along, let me get some threes in the chat because this chapter is just so good, right? Because I'm going to go into the last point that I have. And of course, I will open up the floor for anybody who would like to add anything. But one thing that I really loved about this chapter is he said that everything you want in this world is basically is already there and it's already done. So let's just say you want a brand new car. Let's just say you want a brand new Range Rover. Let's just say you want a Rolls Royce. Okay. Like you can definitely want that thing. Why? Because the car is already out there in the world. And if the car is not out there in the world and you got to put in a custom order, the people who are going to make that car, the custom materials, right? The paper that's going to be printed for the receipt, the material for the seats, the tires, all of that stuff is already here for your vehicle. You just don't have it yet. Everything you want is already out there. Like every dollar that you want, it may not be printed yet, right? Because they print, I forgot how much money they said they print every single day, but we did look that up, y'all. But the money you want is just not in your account yet, but it's literally already out there. Most of our accounts are digital anyway. So you're think about it like this. Every time you think about this, just smile. You are a few clicks away from $1 million, right? You're a few numbers being changed in the computer screen away from your 6 and 7 figures, right? You've already put in the work, you've put in effort, you've put in the intention. And if you haven't, then you need to start to direct your attention to what it is that you want. And then just be like, I'm a few clicks away. I'm a few clicks away, right? Whether it's making a phone call where you get the perfect deal, right? Whether it's pressing the button and you get the perfect trade, right? Whether it's clicking into the button and hopping into the right conversation at the right time, right? Or whether it's just simply a transfer of wealth. You are a few clicks away from the life that you really, really, really want to live, right? A few numbers being changed away. Everything you want is already out there. You just have to continuously think about it. Like he said, it's not going to magically appear. Like if you want a brand new car, you're not just going to open the door and there's a brand new car right there the second you think about it. But once you put yourself in the vibration, I want this new car, right? And you know that that thought and energy of that the same thing that created that car is what created you. You just have to get into vibration with that vehicle, right? You have to start to take the steps to maybe call some places to see who has the vehicle. Maybe look online to see if you can actually take it a little step further and customize the car the way you want. But the fact that you want it is not wrong. There's nothing wrong about the situation. You should want it. You should always want bigger. You should always want better because it's out there. And the more joy that you feel in yourself, the more joy that you're going to spread to other people, the more joy that God is going to receive, the more joy and gratitude. And you're going to be a catalyst for that. Like you're going to be a catalyst of making a lot of people feel a positive way. And then they're going to be a catalyst of making a lot of people feel a positive way. And before you know it, you have individually impacted 1 billion people, right? You've individually impacted 1 billion people. Like think about any great person, like think about the most successful person you've ever heard of, right? And you guys can just drop that in the chat. The most or a very successful person, right? Any very successful person, right? So I'm just going to think about Michael Jackson, right? Okay? Because my people are still to this day. I recently saw on somebody's Instagram story that their child's school had a Michael Jackson tribute night. And I'm like, this is elementary school. Like, this is crazy. Like, Michael Jackson been around for a minute, right? Okay, Dre said cha cha. But yes, Warren Buffett, yeah. Basically, any successful person that you can think of, they've impacted you, right? And you feel like you felt like their impact was so important that out of all the other people in the world, you chose this person to impact you. Like now imagine how many people that person has impacted. Now imagine the vibe that you got from that person when you saw them. Like, did they inspire you to really want to do more? And did you take action from that thing? And that's really what it's all about. If you can be inspired by somebody to take action, then somebody can be inspired by you to take action. So it's really important to make sure that every single conversation that you have is adding value. Every single business transaction that you have should be of equal value to you as it is to the other person. So if this means telling your person at the end of the transaction, hey, like I really enjoyed this conversation. I would love to talk to you more about financial literacy and business mindset. That's something that I really enjoy talking about. And they're going to say, wow, okay. Well, we don't know what the person's going to say, right? But they might say, wow, okay, that'd be nice. But you never know unless you will extend yourself, right? You have to be willing to continue the conversation. You have to be willing to Get the energy out. You have to be willing to stop sitting on projects and ideas. You have to understand that riches will come to you if you focus on it, right? If you believe that it's already done. Whenever I am feel like I need money, I just be like, wow, this money really is en route. Like, you know how, let's just say you make a purchase and then you get the confirmation email and then you get the email that is en route, and then now all you have to do is wait for the package. Every time you set a goal, just be like, order placed, confirmation number one, like confirmation number one, and just be like, it's en route. It's en route, right? So let's drop that in the chat, guys, right? It's en route. Your success is en route, right? The riches you want, it's en route. The relationship that you want, it's en route. The business that you want, it's en route, right? The customers that you want, clients, prospects, right? The business partners that you want, right? It's en route, right? You've already ordered it, right? You've already ordered it, and you now just have to shift to the mindset that it's en route. It's coming, and I'm ready for it. Like, I love getting packages. I don't know about y'all, but I love getting packages. So that's just how I've been thinking about things. And it's honestly made me a lot less stress, right? A lot less stress. So, yeah, guys, I think that's all I have to say about how riches come to you, which is chapter 6. Next week, we will be talking about gratitude, which is an amazing chapter, chapter 7, because anything talking about how to be more like have more gratitude is always going to be a great thing, because the more gratitude you have, the more you can get out of this life. And it's not about being selfish, it's about understanding that you have to be grateful. Like, you literally have to be grateful for the life that you have, because the same energy that's powering you, right, the same energy that decided that it wanted to power you, is also powering the entire world, right? And it can be doing anything else. It don't have to be with you, but you are alive, you are here, and it's just amazing, right? It's just really amazing. So I love that chapter. But that's all I have to say. If anybody would like to add anything to the conversation, you can go ahead and raise your hand and I will let you speak. But yeah, y'all, this was lit. So I see Miss Spicy raised her hand. So I'm going to allow her to talk. You should be able to talk now, and I'm going on mute.
Thank you. I love raising my hand and participating because, like I said, a mindset reset the other day, it's just being programmed to do so. But yeah, I definitely love this episode. I love this chapter, and I definitely agree with everything that you said. One thing I can definitely add to it is that um, dang, what did I have to say? Oh, being comfortable with big numbers. Being comfortable with big numbers because, like you said, the gentleman said $50,000. Like, that was the biggest number he could think of. It's like when you start watching multi-million-dollar home tours and it's $54 million. Like, now we getting up there, you know. So it's just about being okay with bigger numbers. I feel like people are afraid of numbers when it comes down to them having to pay for something, but the fact of the matter is that anything that comes up that you need to handle, the money is going to be there so that you can handle it. It might not be right there, but it's going to come to you so that you can go ahead and handle it. So just be okay with bigger numbers and be okay with, like Cha-Cha said, like raising your prices, because the people that want to pay are going to have the money to pay. It's like not being small-minded. The people around you may be dealing with poverty, but there's other people out there in the world that are going to value whatever it is that you're selling, whatever it is that you're providing, and they're going to have the money to pay. One of the best feelings in the world is waking up and seeing that someone paid $150 for one of my nail sets. And now some people might say $150 for a nail set. And it's like, yeah, because there are people in this world that admire beauty. There are people in this world that admire aesthetics, and they are going to want to pay, especially if you're the new kid on the block. They're going to want to pay because they know that not too many people have what it is that you're selling. So those people like speciality too. And it's about understanding that. Now, another thing I had to comment on was definitely creating multiple ways for this money to come to you. And I'm sure this is something that Cha-Cha had already said during this episode. It's just understanding that if you're only getting paid $40,000 in your one job and you want to become a millionaire, you're working against yourself because you're putting so much time into one opportunity, and you know The max they're going to pay you out in that year is $40,000 on top of you having to pay bills. If you have kids, you got to take care of them. You're going to want things as an adult. You're going to want to indulge in entertainment, and that must be paid for as well. Okay, those are billion-dollar industries, anything that has to do with entertainment. So it's all about understanding that you have to really get into this multiple streams of income that's creating passive income. There's a lot of income that I'm participating in right now where it's like I actually do have to engage. I do have to provide the service. I do have to show up. But there's a lot of things out here too where you literally just do it once and you're going to continuously get paid for the rest of your life. Like Cha was alluding to with Michael Jackson. He's not even physically present on this world, and yet people can literally go to YouTube right now and watch Thriller. People literally, like she said, with the tribute concert, it's just understanding that there's multiple ways that you can get it, and you can always create something that's timeless and something that's lasting. So stop thinking about just your one job gonna being the thing that's gonna do it for you, because it's not. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for allowing me to share.
Yes, of course. Always coming through and dropping mad value. You guys heard what she said. Create something timeless. Be confident that you can create something timeless that's going to live on forever. Because I'm pretty sure somebody told Michael Jackson, don't do that. Don't stand on your toes. Don't slide backwards. And he was like, what? Like, if nobody ever did it before, I'll be the first. And I bet you they're going to do it again. So don't be afraid to try something new, because everything in this world was once something new, and I'm pretty sure somebody told them no, because it literally wasn't their vision, right? That's something that Elle will say a lot. It was not their vision. You have to understand that you are a part of, like, imagine if the entire world was a puzzle, right? You're here, you're in it. So without you in it, it would not be complete. Like, there's something inside of you that the world needs, but only you can fulfill that need. So no matter what you see around you, understand that it's going to be up to you, right, to unlock those riches for yourself, for your lineage, for your bloodline. Nobody else, right? Don't leave it to your kids. Don't leave it to the next generation. It is on you. If that's why you want this call and you feel that in your heart, just understand that the riches are coming, and we're literally giving you the blueprint of how to attract it into your life. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the host of Mindset Reset, which is an amazing personal development series that airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 o'clock a.m. And it's all about shadow work, personal development. It's so interactive and amazing. But yeah, let me go ahead and bring this host up. She made time. Go ahead, Elle.
I just got the signal. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having an amazing, abundant day. I hope everyone is walking with the confidence and knowing that everything they ask for is really en route, just like Cha said. I did hop on the call a little bit late, but I caught most of it. And I will say that this was a really interesting call. And I feel the need just to tell everyone the best thing for me that I received from this call is really just to move with your passion. If there's something that you like, and like Cha said, people compliment you on it, start selling it, because that's a gift, and that's something that people will naturally want to buy from you because you're very passionate about it. And if you're very passionate about it, it means that you're living from your heart. And when you live from your heart, that means you have a lot of courage, which means you're going to make the money, because money is really just a result. It's not the end game. It's nothing. It's a result of doing things that you want. And when you have that high vibration energy, you really can connect with money and tap into it a lot quicker, a lot easier, because you naturally know that you're abundant. You know, you naturally know that you carry with that energy, because money is something that's man-made. It's not something given by spirit. But if you naturally know that you're abundant and you're amazing, and you're all these things, you'll get to the money a lot quicker. So that's what I want to share. And I also just want to say again, thank you so much for hosting this series. I really have been enjoying it. I'm complete.
All right. Thank you, Eleanor. Came through with the gems. My favorite thing she said was money is the result of doing the things that you want, and it's man made. You got to realize that you are already abundant. Like, that was really a word. I enjoyed both you guys' amazing shares. I'll give everybody else, if you guys want to speak, about 10 seconds. If not, we are going to be wrapping up this call. Again, this was chapter 6 of 16 out of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And next week, we will be moving on to chapter 7. If you have not already subscribed to The Money Mantra on YouTube, make sure you head over to The Money Mantra on YouTube, right? And click the subscribe and notification bell so that you never, ever, ever miss when I go live. There's a bunch of different content there that you'll really enjoy. And if you want to see more stuff just like this, right? Just like this, that's really going to boost your mood and your money, make sure you follow the Cosmic Club on Instagram. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you next week on Off the Charts.